Hello, hello, hello. How are you? This is Nancy, the Disorderly Stitcher. Um, it is Saturday, August 6th, I believe. Um, yeah, it's kind of cloudy outside. We're supposed to be getting some rain because there's a lot of southern moisture coming up, apparently, according to the Weather Channel. Um, yeah, I mean, it's warm, it's muggy. It rained 2 days ago for like a hot 6 minutes, but it poured, and I'll take any rain we can get. All right. So there we go. Um, as you saw by the title card, this is episode 7, in which Nancy develops a list of projects 2 weeks before school starts. I think I've discovered that I am a fabric and pattern and fiber collector. Of course, I probably knew that for 30 years, but I'm admitting it. All right, I'm Nancy. I'm a fiber collector, and I need help. All right. So today there's going to be more haul and plans than there is progress. Because for some reason I really, really focused on one project. I got into it. So, and I also bought a microphone. So I'm hoping that, that all of you can hear me better. I know some of you were concerned about the volume. We're going to give this a try. I'm also going to try and use Power Director again. Last week it was giving me fits, and it's the free version of their software download, and I was playing with it yesterday trying to insert pictures and blah 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 blah. So hopefully that works. If that doesn't work, then I will stick pictures at the end of this one and we will move on. Okay? All right. So here we go. Let me get something together here and then we'll get started. All right. Sorry about that. So, like I said, it's been more of a haul and plan and think week more than it has been progress. So, I will show you my progress, and I took it out of the frame. So, I am working on, I'll take this out of the package. I've learned the pattern this week. This is Christmas List by Silver Creek Samplers. Hope you can see that. And it's a long one. And so this gal is from Montrose, PA, which is north of me. And she did a trunk show interview on Fat Quarter Shop not too long ago. So I will link that video below if you're interested in learning more about her and her designs. She does a lot with text, and the cool thing about text is it's quick, because like you can do like I've done like the words reindeer and blessing. Once you get going, it's not that hard. And the cool thing also about this is that I'm not necessarily a counter. I do a sort of a location association type thing where I'm like, all right, so I did the word, what is that? Blessing. Okay. And then I just, okay, where can I start the sweater in relationship to the word blessing? Okay. So that's what I do with patterns. Now there are a couple of little mistakes because, I probably missed a stitch or I counted or went over too many, and I'm like, I can blend this in as long as I remember it's there and I can, remember where I need to be. So yeah. So the colors, it's all DMC. They're really, really pretty. And I don't know if you can see them. There's a couple more blues that I don't have bobbinated yet. These are on the Floss Biddies by Fat Quarter Shop. Started using these first before I started using my own. So yeah, it's the first one I've done of her designs. And so I'm using, I believe it's Fabric Flare. And Fabric Flare is printed. So the back side is white and then the front side is printed with whatever design. And this is meant to look like modeled, hand dyed. And I do apologize, it's not ironed. I just finished a part up at the top so I could pop it out of the frame and I could make my video because my husband and my grandson are off on a Cub Scout trip. So the house is quiet. The cat is sleeping. Life is good. So this is how far I've gotten. So you can see I only worked the width of my, I believe it's an 8-inch, 6 or 8 inch Q-snap. Now I'm not going to tell you where the mistakes are, okay, because you really can't see them unless you know they're there. But you can see, like there above Christmas, I've started the word woolen. Down there above cookies, I started the H in hot cocoa. Looks like I forgot to finish some of it. Where'd it go? Yep, so I'll finish that when I move the frame. But yeah, I mean, I'm having fun. So now that I can shift this, I will probably shift it over to this corner and I will start down and then I'll work on the bottom. So this has been fun and I've really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to doing some of her others. So there we go. So that's that. And I liked it so much that there was another one I had considered doing, but you know, I was like, nah. So my husband and I, our grandson was camping with his parents in Lancaster. Now in Pennsylvania, as I learned in college 40 years ago, it's pronounced Lancaster. Okay. Being from Ohio, I grew up saying Lancaster, and I think that's a Western thing. But anyway, around here it's Lancaster. So he was camping, glamping, in a 30-foot pole behind with my in-laws, and my husband and I took Wednesday, and we also went to Lancaster because he is a historical firearm nerd. I mean, he can watch a movie and say those guns aren't correct, and I'm just like, watch the movie, just relax, it's okay. So he has, when he was a teenager, they did a lot of French and Indian War reenactment, and he's always had an interest in Pennsylvania long rifles. Well, there's a museum over in Lancaster that is having an exhibition of Pennsylvania long rifles right now, and he has been nerding out over rifles made by a gentleman named Jacob Dickert. So lo and behold, in this exhibition, there is one Jacob Dickert rifle. And I'm like, okay, let's take a day and go to Lancaster so you can fanboy all over Jacob Dickert. So yeah, we got there, we went there first, and I looked around on the first floor. Didn't look as deeply as he did because I knew he would nerd out. And so after a while, I just said, I'm going to go back up to the car. You can nerd out as long as you want. And so he had a good time. It's great. So if you're in the area and you have an interest in that, check out Rockford Museum in Lancaster. So after that, he said, all right, which shop do you want to go to first? So we went to Strasbourg to go to Hodgepodge. And Hodgepodge is a very small shop. She doesn't have a website. She doesn't have an email. You have to call and make sure she's open, because even though you do a search and it takes you to like a Google Maps information page. The hours on the information page aren't necessarily correct. So with that being said, call, make sure they're going to be open. Like I said, it's a very, very small shop, very, very tight, but there's lots of charts, and you need to make sure that you leaf through all the different racks, because it's not necessarily the same chart on the rack in that slot. She also has DMC. She has Weeks, Classic Colorworks, my brain just went. Gentle Arts. I think she had some Dinky Dyes, and she had Sulky Spools, and so yeah, and she has fabric. She has a lot of fabric pre-cut into what I would call eighths. She does have some yardage which she will cut, but not a whole lot. So like I said, it's a cute little shop. Strasburg's a sweet little town. There's a couple of antique places across the street. There's a barbecue restaurant, across the street. So if you have, an hour to spend or so, go to Hodgepodge. And then after that, we went to the north side of Lancaster to Stitches Unlimited. And their shop is small. There's a little more space, but she has a lot of models. And very helpful. Both shops were very helpful. So yeah, I nerded out. Okay. So, like I said, there was a lot of haul this week, and so let's get started. So the first piece of haul I'm going to show you are these. Now, this idea I got from Brenda and Laura, Brenda and the Cereal Starter. And these are floss wrappers, I guess you call them. So I ordered 2 just because, if you're going to order 1, why not order 2? And, you can pick your wood, I guess, pick your stain, pick your finish. I'm sure these are just plain wood that are stained different colors. So I got a cherry stain and I got a plain. And then like a matte finish. I didn't want anything too fancy because why? But the idea is that you put your floss on it and then you wrap it and then you cut it and you have uniform lengths. And I'm sure that if you wanted to go back into Brenda and the Cereal Starter, I'll try and find the video that they demonstrated this, but I'm not going to guarantee that because they have over 100 videos. But anyway, so I bought these, and they're sweet little wooden things, and I like them. And, like if you've watched The Parent Trap, you can keep the mountain lions away. All right, so that's my first haul. Second, I don't know if I showed you this last week, I got my green Floss Club Weeks Dye Works from Fat Quarter Shop. They're very pretty. So we have citronella. It's sort of a mix of yellow and green. I don't know if you can tell. And this one is moss. I've seen, actually this is funny because I've watched a couple of floss tubes this week and people were using moss. And this is daffodil. Again, it's a mix of yellows and greens. And this is pepperoncini. I guess those are those green pepper things that you get in the salad at Olive Garden. Or I think they put one in the box with your Papa John's pizza. Guacamole. I love guacamole. It's so yummy. And this one's grasshopper. So if you're interested in something like that, it's kind of nice that you have a month, you get a Happy Mail. And they have a club for weeks. Fat Quarter Shop has a club for weeks. They have one for Classic Colorworks. And they have one for, I'm guessing it's NPI, Needlework press silks. Those I haven't dived into yet. Dove. I don't know. The English teachers of the world are probably freaking out right now. But I like them. And so what I do is I developed a spreadsheet in Google Sheets, and I mark them when they come in. And if I have more than one, I mark that I have more than one. And if it's in, I started to, on the spreadsheet, indicate what project my floss is in. There's a lot of floss I haven't done that for because I would have to go back and open up every project bag, and yeah, we're not going there. All right, so that's my floss haul there. Now, what else did I get? Fat Quarter Shop has let's stick with stitching. Okay, we're gonna stick with stitching, and then we'll do quilting, and then we'll do a finish, and then yeah. All right, so let's talk about this pile. Yes, they're in piles. All right, so what did I buy? Well, this is the second Silver Creek sampler that I got, and it's one that I had toyed with for a while, and I really wasn't sure because I've never been a seasonal decorator, and maybe this is like all of a sudden at age 60 turned on this gene. I don't know. And my kids are like, really, Mom? But in our house, there's a built-in shelf in the living room, and my husband's grandmother put it in to house her. She had picture collection. And when we moved in, we just threw books and games and whatever. And so my thought was to clean off the top. The kids' pictures are up there from graduation and whatever. And I thought, okay, we'll hang the pictures, we'll take whatever else down, and I'll use it as a seasonal display. So anyway, most of the seasonal stuff, charts that I've gotten are patriotic because I figured, they could stay up pretty much all summer between Memorial Day and 4th of July, etc. So this is my first Halloween. And I was looking at it, and the gal over at Hoopy Hobby, I'll leave her YouTube link down below, she's working on it. And honestly, what kicked my, add to cart was the fact that my husband noticed it and thought it was pretty cute. So I thought, okay, he likes it. So this one is called Flying Lesson. And it's Dusk to Dawn, Fly by Night, Aviation Institute, established 1692. And if you know your history, 1692 was the time of the Salem witch trials. Salem's on my list to visit. I've never been there. But I really don't want to go to Boston in the summertime because everybody else is there. But someday. All right. So, yeah. So I thought it was cute. And it calls for, or she stitched it on, 18 count Hazelwood from Fiber on a Whim. Well, trying to find a specific cloth is ridiculous. So what I did was, while we were at Stitches Unlimited, and I know I probably had all these flosses at home, but what the heck, Get it while you're there. The only one I didn't buy was black because I knew I had like 5 blacks. But anyway, haven't done anything with these yet. So they're very beautimous. Where's my other green? Thought I bought another green. I'll have to look for it. There should be another green. So that's the floss, and the fabric I chose is Cafe au Lait by Fiber on a Whim. All right. And I liked it because it's mottled and it has a little bit, and I don't know if you can see it or tell, but it's got a little bit of green in it. And yeah. And being 18 count, I can, I'll only use one thread. So I'm excited. I'm excited. Here's, you can see with the straggly thread, you might be able to see the green a little bit more right in there. So yeah, I'm pumped. So right now, this one's living in the bag that the pattern came in. I guess I will have to force myself to make a Halloween project bag. Believe it or not, I do have Halloween fabric to make a bag out of, because my daughter, when she worked at Joann's, she would bring me home pieces of Peanuts Halloween fabric. So yeah, she was my like dealer when it came to fabric. All right, so another thing that I got at, I'm going to hold that a minute because I want to save that for the end. So let's see. All right, so a couple other things. These are the charts that I got at Hodgepodge. And I should have looked on my phone because I bought 2 charts that I already have. So who knows, maybe someday there'll be giveaways, but yeah. So one of the charts I bought is, this one I actually got from Stitches Unlimited, and it was the last one she had. And it's Souvenirs of the Heart, Star Spangled Spectacular by Brenda Gervais of With Thy Needle. So yeah, of course, you know, it's got the patriotic history nerd out and the 2 quilt blocks, the star and the flag, and the one on the side of the house. And yeah, I just think it's Budamus. So that's that one. These are 2 of the charts I got at Hodgepodge. One is Liberty's Welcome by Plum Street. I can't remember which one of these I already have. Might be this one. And I apologize for the glare. Here, let me take this out. I think it's this one. Or maybe not. I won't take it out. There we go. And again, the whole history nerd out. And if you look at the sign, it's a quilt block. So yeah. I don't know if you can see it. And it calls for, there's an MPI list or a DMC conversion. It's using Ligonier Latte by R&R. I've never used their fabric. But yeah, I'm excited. Someday. I need to retire to do all these, but I don't want to retire because then I can't shop. All right. The second one I got, things are going to fall on the floor in a minute. The second one I got at Hodgepodge was another Plum Street called Liberty Lodge. Now, I don't think I have this one. I had this one, so I think it was the other one that was the repeat. But again, nerding out, 1776. Sorry for the movement. I thought it was interesting that the little red truck is in there. And, you know, I'm not totally fangirling out on the little red truck, but I just think it's cute. I even went and bought a little red truck ornament. Of course, Eddie thought it was his, but yeah. So, there we go. All right. Oh, here's another one that I got. This is the other one I got at Hodgepodge, which I did not have. It's my first chart by Annie B's Folk Art. Take a guess. American Sampler House. So it has the, you know, the quilt stars, and it has the 6 points or the stars on the bottom, and it has the red, white, and blue, and the alphabet and the flag, and it's done with DMC and Weeks Dye Works. And the model was stitched on 32 count Dapple by Picture This Plus. Now, if you can see, it's sort of a light blue. I'm like, well, that's pretty cool. All right, so lo and behold, I joined a Fabric of the Month Club by Stitch Me. And the fabric that came, I get a half yard, 36 count, and the fabric that came is a hand-dyed blue. That's what's going on there. Yep. So I do apologize. I haven't taken it out of the bag. She does really great work. And in fact, she's just opening a shop. And here, I'll get a couple other pieces that, at least I think I will. Yeah, so this is the first one I ever got. It's a vanilla latte. Sort of a yellow French vanilla custard type color. And this is a pink chocolate. I've never used anything like with a pinky purple. And then, oh, that's something else. All right. So yeah, so she does really, really pretty work. So those are on the list. All right. So another group of charts I got. Who was doing this? Oh, Lori Wilson of Thread Milk Design. She has a floss tube, and she also has a pattern company. She does patterns, and she makes little floss drops out of old milk caps. You know what looks like old milk caps? They're when you had bottles of milk that were delivered. So anyway, there's a series called Early Americans by Little House Needleworks. And I've always, you know, history nerd. And so, of course, I've always looked at them and wondered, all right, do I really want to do them? And what would how would I finish them? And where would I put them? And yeah. Well, Lori showed hers on one piece of fabric, and the fabric was from Primitive Hair, and it had the Constitution printed on it. I was like, that is cool. So I went to I think it was 1, 2, 3 stitch. I'm not sure. But anyway, I ordered all 9. And if you go to Little House Needleworks website, she tells you, you know, about finishing them, and if you stitch them all on one piece of fabric, leave so many stitches between, you know, squares and yada yada yada. So anyway, I'm hoping you can see these because I'm not taking out of the plastic, because that would be like 9 of them. So there's Betsy Ross. If you've ever been to her house in Philadelphia on Elfreth's Alley, near Elfreth's Alley, it's the oldest street in Philadelphia, but anyway, yeah, Betsy Ross. And then we have John Hancock. And of course, if you know his story, he signed his name so large on the Declaration because he wanted to make sure the king could see it without having to wear his spectacles. And then we have Martha Washington at Mount Vernon. Beautiful place if you ever have a chance to visit. When you go out the opposite side of the house from this one, it overlooks the Potomac on a hill. Gorgeous view. And then we have Nathan Hale. I have but one life to give to my country. He was a teacher from Connecticut, and he was hung as a traitor. I think he was only like 21 years old. And then we have the center of these 9. What would be the center if you put them all on one piece of fabric? So it's just freedom with the flags and the bowl and the birds. Did you know Benjamin Franklin wanted the turkey to be our national bird? Yeah. It would seem kind of odd eating our national bird every November, but whatever. Paul Revere. that's another cool place to visit. In fact, I found out on a Flosstube, on Kimberly Jolly's Flosstube, that there is a sampler on display that was done by one of his daughters. And it has been reproduced, and you can order it from the Revere House gift shop. So that's on my list of things to do. It's in Boston. Then we have Abigail Adams. Incredible lady. While they were writing the Constitution, she reminded her husband, don't forget the ladies. So there's Abigail. And then we have Patrick Henry, Give Me Liberty or Give Me Death. His home is in Scotchtown. It's called Scotchtown. It's near Ashland, Virginia. We visited it when our daughter graduated from Randolph-Macon. And there is a quilt on display that is made with hexagons that are no bigger than a dime. And of course, being the quilter, I'm like geeking out over this thing. And I'm getting down as close as I can to look at this quilt. And the docent said, you're a quilter, aren't you? And I said, yes, ma'am, I am. And she said, if you would like to touch it, go ahead, because I know you won't damage it. How many museums are going to tell you that? I flipped. So, you know, I sort of hopped over the velvety thing, and, you know, I'm checking it out and, you know, lifting it up, and, you know, you could feel the foundation in it, and I was like, oh, my husband's just smiling from ear to ear because he knows I'm nerding out over this. So of course, before we left, we bought a book on antique vintage quilts in Virginia, and it was in there. But anyway, awesome place. Very small house when you think about it, but cool. Okay, so that's near Ashland, Virginia. And then the final one is our Pennsylvania gal, Molly Pitcher. Molly Pitcher is from Carlisle, Pennsylvania, which is just north of us. And if you know her story, I believe it was the Battle of Trenton. She was there with her husband, and she was bringing water back and forth. And I think her husband was wounded or killed, and she ended up working with the cannon. She is buried in Carlisle. There is a large statue in the cemetery of her with her tamping rod. I don't know what you call it. Ramrod for the cannon. So, yeah. So there's Molly. So I have the Constitution fabric on order from Primitive Hair. I'm sure, you know, with the shipping issues and whatnot, that you know, it'll get here. It's not like I need to do this today, but yeah, I can't wait. All right, so another one I got was Autumn at Hawk Run Hollow. Now, I've watched people working on these. I had previously gotten, let me get that one out. I had previously gotten the Village of Hawk Run Hollow from a gal on the cross stitch unloading group that I'm in on Facebook. But anyway, so I got it. And she was selling the fabric and the flosses, and I'm like, hello, that's like a no-brainer. And I'm using DMC. Now there is a needlepoint silk conversion. There's a needlepoint silk and then the DMC conversion. So I'm pumped. All right, but I'm using DMC because that's what came with it. So this is the Village at Hawk Run Hollow. There's numerous Hawk Run Hollow charts. And like I said, it's by Carriage House Sampling, and I've watched people working on various Hawk Run Hollow. There's Halloween at Hawk Run Hollow, Christmas at Hawk Run Hollow. So I decided to get Autumn at Hawk Run Hollow because I love pumpkins. And I love autumn because that means the air is starting to cool down. Some people will do this so that it's strictly autumn, and I've seen them take, I think Olivia at Pumpkin Hollow Quilts took out the Halloween blocks and then moved these two up. So yeah, I mean, do your own thing. The squares are all the same size, so you could do that, or you could even take these individual squares and make smalls, pillows or flat folds or something like that. I love the pig. He's so cute. But you know, the houses, they're gorgeous. And the pumpkins up at the top. I love pumpkins. Our town, Shippensburg, is going to have a pumpkin festival this fall, and it's the first time they've done that. So I'm pumped for that. So yeah, pumped for pumpkins. And this is what they look like close up. I love pumpkins. And turkeys. I love turkey. Turkey! I'm one of those weirdos. The only time I eat warm turkey is on Thanksgiving. After that, cold turkey sandwiches. With lettuce and a little bit of mayonnaise. And I'm a happy camper. Okay, now the last charts I believe that I have to show you are from Thread Milk Design. Now she came out, or is coming out, she's hoping to finish all of them. She came out with Statehood Charts. Remember, it's me, history and geography nerd. And she has one for each state, and the plan is, when I was at Stitches Unlimited, she said the plan is for her to release the last 10 by the end of September. And I've been looking at these and looking at these. Well, of course, when we were at Stitches Unlimited, they had some finished as pillows in different sizes, and I was like, all right, that's it. They got to come home. So I picked 4. Now, my father worked for General Electric when I was growing up, and an average of about every 3 years we moved. So I was born in Ohio, and we lived in 2 different houses for whatever reason in Northeast Ohio, and then we moved to Nashville, and then we moved to Louisville, and then we moved to Schenectady, New York, and down into Maryland, and then we moved to Ohio, and then that's when my parents split, and my dad and I moved into an apartment, and he got remarried, and then we moved into another place in Ohio, and then we moved to Pennsylvania when I was a senior in high school, and this is where I've stayed. So I thought, wouldn't it be cool, being the nerd that I am, to do these in some in red and some in blue. So what I decided was, I'm going to do the ones for where I have lived in red, and I'm going to do the states that I have visited in blue. Now, you know, the thing about visited, okay, does driving through that state count? Or does it actually have to be, I have actually visited something in that state? Because, you know, if I go ahead and say I've driven through it or I've been in it, I can count more states. So yeah, because like, you know, I flew to Oregon when I was in high school to meet my pen pal, and the flight landed in Seattle for a plane change, whatever you call that, and connection. And it's like, so I sat in the airport. Does that count? I don't know. That's something I have to wrestle with. But anyway, so of course the first two I chose were, were Pennsylvania. And I bought that one more so for my husband because he's born and raised Pennsylvania. But it has the flag, and it has 1 of 13, and actually it should say 2 of 13 because it's the second state. I don't know, I might change that. And a quilt, and oh, there's the number 2. It has the number 2 down here. and the year it became a state, 1787, and the buggy. Okay, buggies are notoriously associated with Pennsylvania because of the Amish. So anyway, it calls for Fathom, Weeks Dye Works Fathom, and DMC 221, and they're only 50 by 50. So they're going to be quick stitches. And when you look at it, it's only 2 colors. How hard is that? I mean, like this buggy, you know, you could outline it and then fill it in. It's really not going to be that hard. The stars and the flag are not filled in. If I want to go back and fill those in, I could. All right. So that's Pennsylvania. And of course I had to get Ohio. So there's Ohio. The Wright brothers were from Ohio. It's number 17. Yeah. And the carnation is the flower. Now, this calls for Gentle Arts Country Redwood. Gentle Arts apparently is one of the hardest floss brands to find. Like I told you before, it took me over a month to find cranberry. When I found these at Stitches Unlimited, she did not have Country Redwood. So I chose to use instead Gentle Arts Buckeye Scarlet. And of course I chose Buckeye Scarlet because, you know, Ohio Buckeyes. So yeah, again, 50 by 50 stitch count. And with it being 1 color, it's going to take like a flash in the pan. I got then I was like, okay, while I'm here, I'm just going to get 2 that I visited. So I picked Oregon. I don't know if you pronounce it Oregon or Oregon, but it has the pine trees. It has 1859, the fish. I'm guessing those might be salmon. I don't know, since they're sort of orangey pinky color. And number 33. And this one takes Classic Colorworks, Classic Color Threads, Chili Pepper, Weeks Dye Work Collards, Classic Colorworks, La Tierra, and it calls for a Valdani Khaki Black. I wasn't going to get into the Valdani for one little project, so I pulled, because it's really not that much black, and I might change this, who knows, because this is a little dark. I pulled Black Coffee, so I have to see how that looks. And some of these threads I have in 2 different charts, so yeah. So there's Oregon. And of course, another place that I visited a lot, because my sister lives up there, is Vermont. She lives in near Island Pond, Vermont, near Newport, which is like, you know, 1 or 2 more exits on I-91, I think it is. You're in Canada. So, like I said, I've been to Vermont quite a few times to see my sister. One time when I was in high school, we went to Stowe, to the Von Trapp Lodge, and I got to meet Maria, the real Maria. I was like, ah! I was in the parking lot, and my stepsister came running down the hill. Nancy, Maria's in the gift shop. And I'm like, get out. She's like, no, I'm not kidding you. So I picked up a copy of her book entitled Maria, and we talked, and I told her I had been in the play 3 times, and you know, I appreciated her story, and she signed my book. I was like, ah, yeah. So I was pumped. So pumped seems to be the word of the day. So of course we have 1791. Vermont and Kentucky were the first 2 states added after the Constitution was adopted. I can't remember which was 14 and which was 15, but it's Vermont and Kentucky. So you have ski, you have snowflakes, of course you have maple. Oh, it's off 14. There it is. And I'm not sure what those are. I guess those are the flowers. And I think this is a little piece of maple candy. How exciting is that? So this one calls for Weeks Dye Works Fathom Blue Classic Colorworks Snowball, Weeks Dye Works Collards, and again, Country Redwood. Now, I don't know what I'm going to do. Because if you look at the chart, Country Redwood is sort of an orangish red. So I may have to go on a hunt and see if I can find a skein or two of Country Redwood. Because if Country Redwood is going to be something that she uses throughout all these charts, then I'm going to have it. So the Buckeye Reds, Buckeye Scarlet for Ohio may or may not happen. I don't know. So anyway, I'm going to do mine on 24 count Rain Barrel Legacy linen. And it's a, you know, sort of old-fashioned looking linen. But, so, you know, and these are like 9x9 squares. So I got a big piece of fabric, cut it in fourths, and zigzagged around the edges. So I contacted Lori and I said, you know, I'm really excited about all these little state charts. And this is what I plan on doing with them. Would you mind if I hosted a stitch along? She said, no, that would be a great idea. So here's my challenge. I'm not a real stitch along person because I don't like being regimented like that. Thus the name Disorderly. But I thought these are easy. And the cool thing about this stitch along is you can pick whatever state you want. So with that being said, let's start this on September 1st, because if you want to do it, you obviously have to get your chart. Now, I know the charts are available from threadmilkdesign.com because she's the designer. I would guess that you could get them at 123 Stitch. Now, I will go in and look. You can choose to do them on whatever size fabric, whatever color fabric, you know, you pick. You just have to do the math to figure out how big a piece you need. You pick your state. Do the state where you live. Do your favorite state. I don't know. You know, there are states I have never been to, like California, Utah, Wyoming. Well, I drove through Wyoming, so does that count? Colorado, Texas. You know, there's a whole bunch that I've never been to. And I want to do all the states. So we'll see. Okay? So think about it. And, you know, like I said, like Ohio's one color. This one's 4 colors. Do what you want to with the colors. But I thought that would be so cool. So let's shoot to begin this on September 1st. That'll give everybody a chance to get whatever they want and the threads they need and the fabric they want. And then we'll get started. Okay? And we will post it hashtag Statehood Splendor SAL. And I'll remind you of that before we start. Okay? Cool beans. All right. So that's my cross stitch, I believe. Yes. All right. This is a long one today. Okay, so some quilty projects and quilty haul. Let's start with the haul. I've become quite a Lori Holt groupie. If you know anything about Lori Holt, she has some incredible fabric collections and the colors are awesome, and she's published many different books. So anyway, one thing I started to collect was her tin enamel mugs. Now she has come out with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 maybe. I do not have the very first one, which kind of, you know, bums me out because I didn't jump on that bandwagon soon enough. So if I ever find it, I will probably get it. But anyway, her latest one is for her new fabric collection called Prairie. I think I showed you the fabric, and this came in the mail. And for now, these just sit on my sewing table. I might start, you know, putting like notions and stuff that I use a lot in them, but I just think they're cute. So it's over here. Another thing that I got from Fat Quarter Shop. Fat Quarter Shop markets what they call Jolly Bars, and it's exclusive to their shop. So Moda will sell fabric collections in jelly rolls, layer cakes, which are 10 by 10 squares, charm packs, which are 5-inch squares, mini charm packs, which are 2.5-inch squares. And then they make these Jolly Bars exclusively for Fat Quarter Shop. And it would, I've looked at them, and I bought one time, and so anyway, Kimberly was showing these two, I'm going to call them wall hangings. Some people might use them as table toppers. Patterns the other day, and I was like, oh, I like that. So this first collection is called All the Colors, and this is the pattern. And I just think that's beautiful because it has all the colors. And there's the Jolly Bar with all the colors. And the design is real simple because it has, I mean, some people would call that a hashtag. You know, being 60 years old, I call it a number sign. All right. So that's on my list. And I didn't order the background because I thought, you know, I've got white on white and I've got whatever. But I went back and I ordered the background for this one because the background is a white on white, and it has the little hashtag / number sign in it. And I thought, yeah, it needs that. So I bought it. Hello, somebody's blowing up my phone. All right, that's the news. Now, the second one I got is a Christmas Jolly Bar. And again, it's because I fell in love with the pattern. But this one is called Sugar Plum Dreams. And it's a Christmas collection. I'm not sure from who. But anyway. I just thought that was pretty. So, like, this one's only supposed to be 72 square, and the other one is supposed to be 64.5-inch square. So, yeah. And, you know, they're, I don't know if you can see any of this because I haven't really unwrapped it, but they're cute. Pinks and reds and greens, and who's that on there? Oh, that's Santa. All right. And the poinsettias. So, yeah, I didn't buy the background for this one either, but I did buy the bindings. So, I haven't taken it out yet. The binding for the Christmas one is this stripe, and the binding for the other one is a gray. So, yeah, I'm excited. They're on my list. Right? Plan all these things before you go to school. All right, another thing I'm going to do, I don't really want to show you because they're going to be gifts, but let's just say they're project bags. The one I need to send, and the other two I need to make and send, and I will take pictures before I send them. And then I'll show you after they're received. All right. But I did want to show you this. Now, this is a project. I found it up in a box of batting. I don't know how it got up there. But years ago at our guild, we had a challenge to take a song and turn it into a quilt or a wall hanging. A friend of mine did Stairway to Heaven in honor of her son who passed away from kidney failure. And it's gorgeous. It has the stairway going up into heaven. I chose to do Yellow Submarine. And at the time, I was interested in, I saw a video of someone using colored pencils. And I emailed the gal, I can't remember who it is because this was like 10 years ago or more. And she said, well, I use use a good quality pencil like Prismacolor and then just use heat to set it. And it's never been in the laundry. It probably never will go in the laundry. But anyway, so I went to Staples and I made transparencies of the one picture one. I'll show it to you in a minute. Of course, the guy was like, "You sure you're not committing copyright infringement?" And I'm like, "I'm not selling it. I'm not going to make any money from it." So anyway, I made the transparencies, and then I went to school. This is before I was teaching, so it has to be over 12 years ago. 14 years ago, excuse me. So I went to school, and a friend of mine that taught math at the time, she said, "Yeah, come in and use my overhead projector." That tells you how long ago it was. And so I taped the piece of fabric to her board, and I turned on the overhead projector and I traced. And being the Beatles nerd that I am, let me find the top. This is what I did. I don't know if you can see it all. It's hard to see because, like I said, it is colored pencil. And I colored it the best I could. So, there's the boys. And then we have the butterfly stomper. And we have, you know the story, we have the blue meanie. And I can't remember his name. The mayor. Is he the mayor? I think he is. And then we have on this side, what's his face? The sailor. We have Jeremy Hillary Boob, the Nowhere Man. And of course on the bottom, there's the submarine. And a rainbow. And at the time I was still doing free motion, simply by lowering the feed dogs and shifting the fabric and monitoring the speed and the stitch length on my own. So I tried to outline as best I could all the shapes to get the like around the eyes and such, and then I just echo quilted on the top. Oh, this was 2006, 2007. There's a label in the back. I just echo quilted, and then on the bottom I just did swirlies like they were the waves. So yeah, the Guild Challenge was called Name That Tune, and I called this one Journey to Pepperland. So yeah, I mean, here's the back. You might be able to see the quilting a little bit better on the back. You can see, I don't know if you can see their eyes and such, but like around John's glasses. So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. I'm gonna have to hang that up again. So, anyway, there we go. So last week we had oh, here's something else I got in the mail. I'm going to make a bag or two. I haven't decided yet. But this is part of the Prairie line from Lori Holt. So it's like a preprint, but I thought it was cute. And then for the lining, I got one of the backgrounds. I need to go to school, so I stopped spending money. All right, and I made, see, I keep turning around. So I made these. This is a pattern from Fat Quarter Shop. She has a video. This one turned out correct with the backing on the back. And this one, this is the first one I did, so it turned out well. And this one I screwed up, and when I turned it, the backing was inside and the batting was on the outside, and I said, oh, I don't care. Because honestly, when you think about it, this isn't going to scratch up your furniture. So there you go. So I made those. That's out of a Jolly Bar. All right, so back to what we were talking about. We had a giveaway for this beautiful Fat Quarter bag, Fat Quarter Shop bag. It's a mesh project bag, Mad for Plaid, in the peony pink color. And I asked you to use the word fair, F-A-I-R, in your response. And I got a lot of comments. And it's really interesting because I would say the most commented on subject of a fair is fair food. Yeah. Fair food is awesome. You know, you don't count calories the week of the fair. You know, like I said, our fair is small, but the food is incredible. One of the stands has a bloomin' onion. One of the stands has funnel cakes, you know, ice cream, milkshakes, pizza, French fries. I told you about Big Boy Hoagies. So, yeah. And the other subject that seemed to be popular were the rides. I haven't ridden rides in a long time. I used to be a ride person. Roller coasters were cool, you know, like the Roundup. No more. But anyway, with that being said, I'm going to try and insert a picture of the winner into the video, and hopefully it works. But if not, I'm going to show you a post-it note. Gotta love post-it notes. Oh, and did you know that if you don't have a corner gauge to start your project with, to measure 3 inches from your both sides around the corner, use a post-it note. It's 3 inches square. So anyway, our winner, who said, we don't really have a local fair, but I love the rides. And I hope I pronounce your name correctly. If I don't, I apologize. The winner is Kath Wiley, or Kath Willie. Okay, so Kath, you have 1 week. Let's say until Saturday evening, today's the 6th, 7th, 13th. Saturday evening, the 13th of August at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to get back to me. You can link my email up in the banner, in the lower right hand corner of the banner of my Flosstube channel, or it is listed down in the description box. So please email me and let me know that you won. Make sure you're over 18, yada yada yada, and give me your address so that I can get this in the mail to you. If I don't hear from you by Saturday the 13th at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, then I will choose another winner. Okay? So, have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy the end of your summer. I hope that you were able to hear this and that I wasn't too loud. Some of you commented on my nice soothing teacher voice. Believe me, that's not my soothing teacher voice. I talk a lot louder in school. And of course, they think if I talk loud, I'm yelling. Get real. So, yeah. Have a great day. We'll talk to you later. Bye.